Transformation in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. This is going to be kind of a crossover space. I have two channels. I have a tarot channel, and I have a like science and ancient studies channel. It's mathematics, mythology, history, science, and it's based in ancient symbolism, which is what the tarot is, right? And we come to the tarot to get a better understanding of ourselves, our lives, others, our situations, right? How things flourish, how things handle. And many cultures had divination systems. I mean, like every culture had divination systems, means by which they spoke to spirit. And they didn't say spirit was different than science. They didn't say spirit was different than nature. Spirit is nature. You are a part of nature. We are a part of nature. So our behavior is reflective of natural tendencies, natural occurrences. But a lot of times those symbols weren't just divinatory meanings. Sometimes they were letters, sometimes they were numbers, sometimes they were calendrical, right? They told us what time it was, but most of the time they were all of those things wrapped up into simple symbols, like the runes. We read the runes here, the Viking runes, which are actually the alphabet Futhark, and there's a couple versions of it. There's younger Futhark and older Futhark, and they're different versions of the same alphabet that kind of evolved. Maybe extra symbols were added, and the same thing happened with the Celtic tree runes, the Ogham. I am obsessed with this alphabet. I've been obsessed with this alphabet for a while. Here's two versions of it right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's literally a circle with dash marks through it. It's 5 concentric circles with dash marks through it and a square. And those simple symbols become so much, right? Here they are. Can you guys see those? They're just dash marks. What do those mean? And it's the same kind of idea when we read tarot. It's the same kind of idea when we read any kind of chart. When we put numbers in something, 222, when we read letters of the alphabet, we're translating a representation of a sound into a chain of sounds that make a word. We're translating a card or symbols on a card that means something into a spread that tell us a story, right? It's the same kind of a thing. Those things can also be used, like I said, to tell dates and times, to calculate distance, and to do many other things. So I became obsessed with this alphabet, because what does it mean? The planetary symbols, all of it. I've done videos on all of it. And originally I thought that the Celtic tree runes were plasma formations, that they were like when plasma in a vacuum reaches certain resonance, right, certain frequencies, it will stand still at those resonances sometimes and create shapes. Their plasma instability formations, morphologies, the way that they move through those instabilities, and then where they sit when they are stable. And it became all of these things. Ladder formations, the thunderbolts of the gods, those oh gosh, then the name of it is not coming to me, but those things you see in India with like the two heads or the two ends and the centerpiece, and they all have them. There's like all kinds of things that, like, maybe these were machinery, maybe these were mechanisms, maybe they weren't just symbolic, right? And so we start looking through those things, and we come to some amazing discoveries, and starting to understand how people previous to us saw things helps us understand how people presently see things and how things may be interpreted in the future. And again, it translates really well to divination and scientific prediction, right? Like forecasting in some ways. So through these processes, I've learned a lot. I still have a long way to go. There's still lots of stuff to figure out. But how do these things translate into modern understanding. And how do those things help us understand ourselves at 444? So sometimes there's a difficulty in a crossover between what I'm doing on each channel, what we're doing in each place, right? My website is kind of the all of it, right? Because I'm a multifaceted human being who needs to explore many realms in order for myself to feel like I accomplished something in my learning, right? I'm an infinitely curious human being and I have questions. I mean, hang out with me for a minute. I'm like a 2-year-old. I'm like, but why? But how did that happen? How does that happen? Can I touch that? It looks a little sticky. Can I, I want to like tactily like explore things. And that's my nature, right? So, after 5 minutes in, I have some things that I want to show you that I learned about this alphabet that I've conclusions that I've come to recently. And I am going to be formatting them and putting out like a whole explanation of all these parts later in a very neat form. But I did want to talk to you guys about this because I feel like this isn't, obviously it's not just for me, it's for everyone. So first things first, we're going to pull a Celtic tree rune. And we're going to read it from the book, The Divinatory Meaning. And then I'm going to show you the scientific mathematical equation that I have recently, finally, kind of figured out. And again, it's untested, but it is math and it does calculate. So if anybody wants to get in on this and do some math, that is like the scariest thing to ask people. Oh my gosh, just run. You say math? Okay, like I could put on this video that there is like a disaster coming. I could put on this video like all kinds of weird dramatic things that would draw people in. I could tell you all kinds of stuff. People will come. Yes, yes, vicariously looking at these crazy, crazy dramatic things because if someone yells fire, we look. But if I say math, crickets running for the hills. So listen, I'm saying all these things to you because I want you to know you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid, and that these things, just like numbers, can be multiple things, right? So I just really want to show you guys this. I want to experiment with it. So I'm being called to tell you this. I also did a bunch of crystal ball readings for the first 4 signs have posted. The next 4 signs will be out today, and then the signs after that will be out tomorrow or the next day. So keep your eye out for that. But that's what I'm saying. Like we do, I do a lot of different things. Here it is. Oh, Phagos, the beach. We love this. This is from the Forfeda, which is actually what I'm working on, right? They're the Celtic tree runes are an alphabet of 25 linear symbols. They're read from the up and down. They're read vertically. Originally, there were 4 sets. 5 to the right, 5 to the left, 5 across, and 5 diagonally. And then a few hundred years later, we aren't quite sure because you can't carbon date stone. Another set of 5 were added, right? And those are the Forfeda. Beach, Phagos, is one of those. And look how quickly I found it. Totems, keys, ancient texts, spell books, snake deities. Guys, I'm going to cry right now. I'm going to cry. The snake has been coming out so much. Deities and guides, the great goddess in all her forms, archangels, Merlin, Thoth, ascended masters, ancient ancestors. The letters IO and PH, class, chieftain. Thank you, Spirit. This is like the perfect card. Keywords: ancient knowledge and teachings, generations, books, texts, and scrolls, guidance from the past, wisdom, ancestors, and lineage. If you guys had any doubt in your mind, I hope it's gone now. Phagos Beach is associated with the ancient wisdom keepers. The teachings from the past are stored in old objects, special power places upon the earth, and writings. This tree offers guidance from the past and can support new insights and sustenance. Beech is the mother of the woods and is the queen to the king oak. She provides grounding and strong foundations for any area of study or research. It's interesting to note that the words beech and book have the same origins. The Ogham for this tree is Phagos, and the letters are IO or PH. This Ogham is represented by the hook. Can you guys see that hook? It looks like the letter R or the letter N, and it's and sometimes it's actually a line with like a long vertical line with a shorter line next to it, like a sabbath. It very similar to the electrical symbol of a cathode. If you've ever seen that, it's very, very similar. Okay, let's see here. When you receive Phagos in a reading, you are asked to study, do research, or gather information. You might be drawn particularly to ancient information and seek wisdom from the past. You might seek lost wisdom or guidance and information from your elders. Perhaps you feel drawn to research your own lineages or travel to distant lands and sacred sites or countries that were home to your ancestors. You may feel drawn to write your own book or share the knowledge. You guys, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like writing the books on this ancient stuff, the websites, checking it all out. The things I'm about to show you blew my mind. I don't know how you're going to feel about it, but this, thank you, Spirit. This is exactly what we're doing right here, right now. This is just me, one little speck of the universe. What are you guys up to? If this is coming out in this reading and I'm feeling drawn to talk to you guys about this, I am not the only one here. What are you up to? If you're ready to share, let us know. If you aren't, just consider that this is your call to do it. This is a call from the universe for you to follow through. The beach is full of ancient mysteries of the British Isles. When this card appears in your reading, you may fulfill a desire to visit a place connected with your past. You may have stories about your ancestors or lineages to share. You may receive information when holding old objects. If so, spontaneous stories and characters may come into your consciousness, which you will feel compelled to write down and share. Perhaps it's time to go back to school and do some serious research and studies. What have you always wanted to learn more about? When you get this card, you may want to commit to a plan. This can either be study on your own or classes or a full program. This tree offers you grounding and is able to create sacred space for you. Call in the energy of the beach and ask for guidance and wisdom. The information you need may come from a wise person, a book, a dream, or your intuition. If you're beginning a project, this tree offers you a strong foundation and stability. You may be involved with a project for a full year or have to be diligent to bring about completion. Beach will help you stay with your task. Yeah, it's a long time coming, right? Like, and in the grand scheme of things, if we're talking about things that happened in your family lineage generations ago, this is a blink of an eye in that, right? In the billions of years of the cosmos, this is a blink of an eye in that, right? So if it takes you a year, if it takes you 10 years, right, it's worth it. And it's part of the study. And it might feel like a slow crawl to you, but in the universe's time scale, if we're going to talk about calendrical in their time scale, you're actually going quite quickly. You're a beautiful star and you're shining. There's information. There's something being given to you, something being proposed to you by the universe, by your guides, by your own inner knowing that's asking you to please like write it down, capture it on canvas, draw a picture of it, share it, tell the stories to your children, whatever it might be. There's a call for this today. Okay, your ancestors, and it's the perfect timing too because the veil is thin with sound coming, and they're wanting to communicate something through you. All right. Now, here are the blockages. If you're feeling these blockages with this, right? You may discount advice, especially if it comes from older people in your life, such as your parents and grandparents. Think twice about dismissing insight from your elders, as they know things you don't. Knowledge from the past may help you avoid mistakes. Arrogance does not serve you. Also, be open to receiving input from your environment. If you rush at this time, you may miss vital information. Honor the processes of any project that requires determination. You have more in you than you might imagine, and patience is a virtue. Seek wise counsel and cultivate the support. This is not the time to be overly independent. Perhaps you feel shaky and uncertain. Beach can offer you strength and stability. She will help you build a stronger foundation for yourself. Imagine yourself as a beech tree and feel the stability that she gifts you with. And here's the message. I am the Phagos beech tree. I am a book to you, and I encourage the learning of wisdom. You may be involved in a project or an endeavor that will take you an entire year to complete. Thus, you will be working through a whole cycle. It may involve schooling or higher education with a specific goal or degree in mind. You may have an idea for a scholarly project or for writing a book. Whatever your project, it may take a great effort to complete. I encourage you to work hard and be diligent, and I ask you not to give up. This is your soul work. I am your solid foundation and your resolve. Connect to me for strength and guidance. I am the voice of your ancestors, whose aspirations are your own dreams and intentions and desires. I am evolution dreaming through you. How beautiful is that? I am your lineages sharing their wisdom with you. Do not be discouraged. What is it you require? State your needs and invite our help, for we are the ancient ones and we are here to support you. What is it that you require? You are the universe evolving through you. Okay, and these are the ancestors and the spirits and the guides talking to you, telling you this is what they've been telling me. Like last week, I kept hearing my old skate coach telling me to straighten my line, to lift my shoulders, to lift my leg, that I was spinning and I was traveling, and it turned into like all this stuff about centrifugal force and the phi angle and what is all of this. Right? And then it comes down to it comes down to actually centrifugal force and things moving through in resistance to that, right? So centripetal force is a real force that when something is spinning, it pulls it in. And centrifugal force is an imagined force that is actually an object's inertial resistance to that pull. Right? So if we think about it, that pulling out, that resistance isn't a real force of nature. It's inertia. I mean, it is a real force of nature, but it isn't actually pulling it out. It's a resistance to the pulling in. And that centripetal force revolving around your center, bringing yourself back into space right there in the middle there. It keeps you on track. It keeps you from moving. And it also talks about how fast you're going, right? With the shape of it and how you're shaped. If you're way out here, you're going to be, making really, really wide turns, and it's going to slow you down. There's a lot of drag. If you pull yourself in tight like this, you're minimizing that drag and pulling yourself, and you start moving very, very, very quickly. There's something about that, right? And I couldn't figure out what was happening and why I kept seeing this. And then eventually it came down to the orc. I'm going to show you Phagos real fast because it's like looking at it like this. I don't have, do you see that? Like it's like a line with a line. Do you see that? Let me see over here if I've got a better one. Do you see that? Phagos. And it is the beach, and it's Lunasad. Let me see that. Lunasad. So it's August 1st. Right, the first harvest. When we talk about something taking a year to complete and then harvesting it, right? So maybe it started last year. And again, I feel like it's taking a long, long time for these things to occur. But what we have concluded and what we need to show you, and I feel like talking about it, I feel like talking about all the times that they'll talk to me, Mercury, Hermes Trismegistus, and that if you call in, and I'm going to get a little woo here, but there is no separation, you guys. If you call in spirit to help you, if you call in the ancestors, they will come and help you. And I can't tell you how many times I've called on Thoth. please help me. Please help me understand this. I need the information. I need the proper direction to go with something. And Thoth visits me and shows me the things, reveals those things to me, right? The ancient wisdom, right? And if it's something I need healing, that's that caduceus, right? It's that healing mark and the omniscience, the omni power, the being able to see all of those things. I call on Odin, right? And his poetry comes through me, and then I can decipher what I need to see through the poetry. And it all sounds very strange, but this is how it works. And I'm stepping into the space of the ancients as opposed to asking them to speak our language, as opposed to asking them to come into our space and talk to me like they understand what a cell phone is. Absolutely not. I have to remove all of these modern distractions and put myself in a space of ancient, where they could be, whether it's sitting on the ground. It's a lot of theta waves. It's that space of meditation. And sometimes I get trapped there, and sometimes I get stuck there. Right. And that's like my ADD is like absolutely insane. And I really shouldn't be driving because I'm like, but these, like, I'm downloading and I'm downloading and I'm downloading and it stays there. Right. So like when I do the crystal ball readings, or when I'm doing readings at events, or if I have a lot of like video readings, or like if I have multiple readings in a row, these crystal ball readings will even do it. I get into this theta space that's really hard to leave. It's so nice. It's like this beautiful feeling. It's very relaxed. Things aren't bothering me, and I'm getting more and more and more information. And it's like I feel welcome there. And then to put my brain back into a space where I'm on the, like the modern level, I'm actually functioning in the space. Sometimes those thoughts can come through. Sometimes spirit can just keep talking to me. And at first, when I was a kid, I thought I was delusional. I thought there was something going wrong with me. I thought maybe I was crazy. And in some ways I am. So, and no shade to anybody, absolutely not. I just feel like this is a way that I was able to tap into like a different stream of consciousness, right? And so over time, things that I was seeing, and things that were being shown to me that I was putting out there, and maybe doubting myself, or others doubting me, things started to come to light. Things started coming true. It turned out I was right about that situation, or that was the proper information. It was a good thing. I followed my intuition on those things. So I started digging more and more and more, and learning more and more and more. And I want to know what these things mean, universe. I want to understand. And so I started looking into these slash marks, and what they actually turn into is a unit circle. They're trigonometry, right? So you can actually turn these symbols here into real math and come up with a unit circle where each one of them has a sine wave function, sine, cosine, tangent, and they turn into a wave. And so I was able to draw that waveform, right? I was able to draw the waveform, and it turned out that I was doing it all wrong for years. We were talking about like thinking about something and it coming through. And so like the typical way of doing this is by this pi and the square root of 2, right? For the radius, like pi r2, 2 pi r. It's a 5. And also, if you've been following me, for those of you who've been following me, I know that there's at least one person here that I was obsessed with the number five for years, couldn't figure it out. It's the square root of 5. It's the square root of 5 that creates these, and it's the 360 degrees divided into 18-degree sections that give us the 4 quadrants of the Acme, of the alphabet. So the original 4, remember we talked about how there were originally 4 sets of 5, and they turned those sets, they added another set somewhere along the way. For some reason, this wants to be shown to you too. So these are the ways of dividing circles, segmentary, all of these things. This is modern mathematics, and it turns into basically this. and it just looks like squares and things like this. But what it winds up doing is turning into wave frequency markers. I'm going to put a couple pictures up here that I can't see while I'm talking to you, but I'll put them there, and they turn into waveforms, right? And I actually, even just for fun, because I made the thing, and then I'm like, well, I wonder what I can measure. So I started measuring things with it, because that's what I do. I turn it into a sticker and I start measuring things with it. And I actually, the space agency last week or last month, I can't remember, quite recently, but not like yesterday, detected a large wave moving through our galaxy, like a large wave, which actually displaces solar systems, planets, and anything else in its wake, and in its ripple, this giant pond ripple that's going through the Milky Way system, and what I believe is actually going through, permeating the entire universe, is a bunch of waves. And so they were able to monitor it, and document it, how, like, where the waveform actually was. So I lined up the waveforms with the new giant galactic wave found by ESA, and I was like blown away, especially the first one on the right. It is almost perfect. And I didn't have to distort the circle at all, because, like, waveforms move like this, right? So you can squish that circle into an ellipse to measure the like a pointier one. Try not to use like giant words so that everybody can follow along and I can illustrate the point. It fit. It fit. It fits exactly. No, this is ancient ways of understanding things. This is Heather, an artist who's reading symbols and signs, and had to teach myself to do math. I had to teach myself how to do these things, and I got with a bunch of people who knew how to do other things, and they taught me a lot about plasma, about electricity, about space weather, about all kinds of stuff, and natural things. But there was something that just wasn't ringing true with me in those environments and with the messages that they were sharing, and it was like not the path that I needed to be on. So and that became very, very obvious to me as I get an alarm, like alarm bells going off, right? And so I separated myself from the majority of the people who were like angrily dogmatic, pushing things on me. And I separated myself from the ideology because it had become like a science cult in a lot of ways. And there's too much boxing in. Just like I would have never been able to see these letters. I would never have been able to get to this point if I let myself stay in that box. And this is what this is talking about. It's time to dig into that ancient wisdom. This is my thing. What's your thing? Dig into the ancient wisdom and find out what spirit is trying to say to you, because there's messages there, and who knows, you might stumble across something that the ancestors in the universe have been trying to tell us as humans for an extended period of time, and we just haven't been able to see them. So like I lined this waveform up with many things, and then I also use like the radian symbol. Love the radian sticker. Radian is a unit of measure that's applicable in any scale. Radian's a radian, 57.3 degrees. You find the radius of the circle, and then you subtend the exact length of that radius onto the circumference of the circle, and it creates an arc, and that wedge is a 57.3 degree angle. You line up 5 of those, and you wind up with a wedge. You still have a wedge, maybe 6. I have to look. That wedge, is a secant, right? It's like the exterior angle that comes out from another circle, and it locks 28 degrees, and it locks right into that space. 57.3, 57.3, 57.3, 57.3, 28, and it's going into the next ring. It's alternating current. Wow, blowing my mind. The difference between alternating current and space is that it's not really it's oscillation. It's going back and forth like this. Whereas like in a circuit board, it would be like running through the alternator, it'd be like going back through and running like this instead of going in a direct current. It goes through an alternator. That gets really complicated. We don't have to go through all of those things, but bottom line is that we've created a wave, right? With true math. Yes. Hey. Please don't. Please don't. Careful, you're gonna burn your butt. Come on. You. She wants to say hi to you. And she did kind of burn her butt because I can smell it. See? All right. Anyway, there's a lot more there. There's a lot more there. And I will be presenting that when the time is right. The oath, I promise. Sacred King, the oath. You guys, and I'm gonna cry right now. If you haven't seen my other work, I recommend you check it out. And the first two videos on my other channel, it's called Heathen Stargazers. This might be on Heathen Stargazers if you're watching another channel, but the first two videos, it's called It's Complexicated and then Light the Fuse. And they're actually video versions of the first three quarters of my book, Light Range, with some extra stuff added. You get extra stuff if you read the book, you get extra stuff if you watch the movie. But there's a lot there about these pins and being able to collect electricity on the tip of a nanode, right? And what's he got right there? That is pin. Electricity. Look, Willie of the Wisp, Javelin and Fire, 31st. As we come up on Solemn, and what is fire? What is plasma? Charged particles, charged energy, right? And chemical exchange, right? Whoa, sovereignty from voluptuous authority. Because sometimes you got to take a step back. I had to take a step back. Voluptuous authority. I'm hearing like too big for their britches. I'm hearing like a bunch of stuff, and I'm giggling to myself because Spirit knows. Spirit knows, and I can't get too big for my britches either. It'll set me right down, just like everybody else. Because that's how the universe works. Is like keeping your sovereignty in your mindset and your discovery, right? Not letting these preconceived notions, dogmas, pressure separate you from the truth. And Lou, you and I talk about the gods all the time, but I think if there's any god that I talk to the most, it's Lou. And it's shown me, because Lou is the god of light, warrior, shining one. And so for Aries, someone who's got a lot of fire in my chart, right? That leadership need, that like headstrong, pushing through warrior. Guys have work. Guys have work. We've talked about this before and we're doing this before, but during your meetings before zodiac, and it is ruled by the planet that's the thing that's ruled because it's about ruling yourself. To me, about light, about the light. I think work. And so here we are, me making my oath to you that I will present these things, and the universe making their oath to us that they will love and support us. But there's messages that they're trying to convey. There's things they've been trying to say, whether it be the ancestors, whether it be spirit, whether it be a consciousness from another place, whatever that might be. Maybe it's Kivo Chaos Kitten. Did I say that on the bottom is the fairies? Fairies of mischief and play, the call of laughter. I do crazy. It's just that kind of thing. Yeah. Not to take ourselves so seriously, to enjoy ourselves, to enjoy the journey, to enjoy the knowing and the want, right? And I'm just completely blown away. And this is very masculine energy. By the way, all of these things coming out here are very masculine energies, which is action oriented, which is protective. And then, the chieftain, the sacred king, archangels, Merlin, Thoth, ascended masters, ancient ancestors. Here. All right. We're done now. Because she keeps putting her butt over that candle. I know, it's scary me. It's scary me. Don't do that. All right, I think that means that it's time to end this wonky ass reading. If that's what this was, whatever this might be, it feels really disconnected. It feels really disjointed. Would just stop. Okay. And I just wanted to show you guys the waveform and to talk about knowing, right, and following your gut and following the lead, and that is being provided for you, and doing what you need to do to get where you need to go. Don't let anything hold you back. Don't let anybody tell you, yeah, we're not showing you that one yet. This spirit has nudged me saying, no, 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 not. There's so much, like, these things that I'm showing you. This is like, I want to say, like, the tip of the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg for the math on this particular one is already up on my website. Haven't really put any presentation together yet for these waveforms, but I'm telling you, I've barely slept over the last couple days. I've been up in the middle of the night, waking up super early. I'm getting like completely overwhelmed by these downloads, by this waveform here, by all of this stuff and how it lines up to all of these other things. And it's just like pushing, like keep going, because the universe and our ancestors have been collecting this information, have been doing this research, have been making these observations for hundreds of thousands of years. And little old me, just one person, little old you, just one person, we're not enough to get all of it. It's not physically possible. So we need to work as a collective, and we all need to do our part, and we all need to listen and share, right? Because this is the time. There are things happening. There are earth changes going on right now. There's galactic changes, universal changes. There's cycles pushing through and going on right now. And there's a lot of change that's occurring. And we are going to continue to do things to our detriment until we learn what we're actually supposed to be doing in our natural environment, how we're supposed to be adapting to these things, how our ancestors have adapted to it. And again, like, what is our place in nature? And what is nature trying to tell us? I mean, this is just so yeah, keep your eye out for that. For that next step to come through. If you're interested in any of the other stuff that I've done, check out my website, heathenstargazers.org. Watch our channel, Heathen Stargazers on YouTube, tarot gazing on YouTube, where we do these weird readings every day, or often. And I just want to also note that, like, I am not doing this for money, because this is it. I just want you to know this is straight from my heart. This is straight from, like, when he's like ignoring some things sometimes, and people look at me like, again, like I'm crazy. Like, why would you do that? Or that was going to put you in a space that was, that would have been successful for you. And then, like, I made a mistake or something. But I didn't, because I needed to follow the track that I needed to follow, and I'm still doing that, and I still need to do that, because it's fruitful, and I can't exist otherwise. The universe wants this from me. And so I suggest that you also follow that guiding light and get down to it, whatever it is that the universe has been calling you to do, and make that your mode of success, because it isn't arbitrary that you're getting these messages. It isn't coincidence. This is universal synchronicities of the collective consciousness, from now, in the future, in the past, from here, from other places, from all over. And it's like that waking up to the bounty that is there, and it's there to help us all evolve, whether, like, we know it or not, or understand what the next step is, it's there to help us evolve. All right. All right. I'm gonna leave it there. I hope that was helpful. I hope that you got something out of it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for checking out all this stuff. There's so much stuff. Thank you for hanging out on Facebook. If you want to be part of our Facebook group, it's really cool over there. Got lots and lots of interesting information from some wonderful, wonderful people. So come join us over there. And thank you for coming back and visiting us again next time.
Transformation in 3, 2, 1.